Yes, Ben. A first-time caller out of Sacramento. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'd like to say that you're wrong about the foundation of America, and that the founding fathers actually used the power of Satan to set up America to fail. And that's why the types of things that are going on right now are happening. And a lot about what you guys just talked about as well.
I don't understand your statement. What is he saying? So the founding fathers did what?
They were Freemason occultists.
That's why we became the greatest country in the world?
Yes.
How do you become the greatest country in the world if it's founded on a lie?
Because if a lot of the things that they were saying, like George Washington, for example, he believed that God was with him on the battlefield, and that it was his God that was like basically winning his battles for him.
And you say that's a lie?
I don't think that's a lie, but I think that Satan was his God, and that he was because of the fact that he was a Freemason occultist. The same people.
This is so dumb, I don't even understand what he's saying. James, Nick, you understand what he's saying? Chris. Oh, Chris will understand. He's white. Are you white?
I don't. I'm a little bit, but that's another.
I'm a little bit. What other bit are you?
Another thing that I think that you're wrong about.
Let me hold that thought. Okay. Let me get the first thing first. Do anybody understand what he's saying about the founders?
I've heard that, but I can't really make the connection that they're Freemasons and stuff.
And
I don't know too much about that.
I don't know anything about Freemason, but they still built the greatest country in the world.
He was basically saying I think he's saying that they made a deal with the devil to make the country successful physically. But
the devil is not in the devil to make the country the greatest Christian country in the world.
But he's saying that it was never Christian.
And why is he saying that? Why are you saying that?
I'm saying that because the founding fathers themselves, they were serving, like, just to name the founding fathers, even they're trying to exalt themselves. Like, I think that they were playing God. And I have an example of that.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
Did you go to public school?
I did.
I rest my case. Brainwash.
Actually,
no, this is conspiracy theory
Let me just
stuff.
say that.
Oh, he is conspiracy theorist.
Well, it's definitely not public school stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, public school is actually what helped. Like, I saw the lies within the public school, and that really helped me, like, to see this information.
You said you had an example?
Oh, yeah, an example of that would be the 3/5 compromise. And the reason I say that they're playing God and what that is they're saying that the slaves only counted as 3/5 of a person as far as population. And that's what I see a trend in America just throughout the history, that the leaders of our country, they dehumanize people. So like they said
it's not
that...
They weren't dehumanizing black people then.
Is he part black?
They gave them 3/5 of a whole human. That's a little bit...
It was for the voting purpose.
Yeah, I agree. I understand that.
Are you part black?
Possibly, but can I...
No. You don't know?
I don't know. I really don't. I'm not into, like...
So are your parents all white or white and black?
My parents... See, you always say that racism is an illusion.
How does this boy know anything? He doesn't even know what race he is.
Yeah.
You don't know what race you're from?
You should have picked abortion as dehumanizing.
Let me just say, can I just say? Well, that's another example, but I think that race is the illusion and not
So are
racism.
your parents black or white?
If you looked at them, you would probably say
what would you say, man?
I say that race is an illusion.
No, are your parents black or white? Or all black or all white?
My dad is German and my mom is Jewish and Portuguese.
What a mess. But go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So, essentially what I'm saying is that they set up America to fail. And, like, the reason that this whole white supremacy thing is going on is because the founding fathers, they compromised with the 3/5 thing to say that black people were not human beings. And it's...
They never said that.
That was a
reoccurring
stepping stone
theme
to be
with the
human.
They never
Freemason
said
thing.
that. Hey, they never said black people were not human beings.
I believe that the 3/5 compromise.
It was
is
for
them
votes. It
saying
was
that.
an economic
I
thing for
agree.
votes. They never said
I
that
agree.
black people were 3/5 of human beings. That was never said.
It's within the Constitution that they're only counted as that slaves, not even necessarily.
But that was for
slaves.
voting purpose, not that they thought that the people were 3/5 human beings.
Right, but if they were born, like if they were born again, children of God, they wouldn't have compromised. In that
Are you
way.
a born again child of God?
Yes.
How do you know?
I don't have any hatred towards anybody, and I understand. I understand why they did this, and also I've heard you say that Jesus doesn't necessarily he doesn't have to come back. But the truth is that he actually has the right to come back because he was the perfect person. Like Jesus has the right to come back and be the king of the children of God.
Amazing.
He actually has that right.
So, Chris, how do you respond to what he says?
I'm not sure. I don't think that the founding fathers were occultists.
They were not. I mean, that's not even a thought. I mean, anyone who's thinking that way
You're
is
wrong
insane.
about that.
They're
No,
not.
you are wrong about that.
But go ahead.
They really were.
Hold on a minute. Go ahead. And then Joel.
I mean, I'm not sure. I don't really have a lot of information on it. I think it's one of those things where you can go back to any civilization, and they weren't doing things that we would consider, traditionally moral as of today's standards. But I don't think because they were different or they did something that we consider abstract, that it means that they were involved in, Satanism and that type of stuff.
Joel, you wanted to say? You about to say something?
Well, first I was going to say, it's hard to believe anything about them being occultists or whatever, because the values that have kind of sprouted from the beginning to now, there's too many things that, where you don't even have to have all this deep knowledge and information on to know that it's kind of a far-fetched thing to believe that they're occultists. The Constitution, the values that have sprouted from, what America is, it's the Holy Land, and I don't think that can be birthed from a occultist type thing. But my other question was...
rest my case. Very good point.
And my other question was if he smoked pot.
You smoke spin.
No.
But
I actually got off pot.
I knew you.
Yeah,
That's why you don't know what race your parents are.
I do know what race my parents are.
No, you don't.
There's only one race. That's the thing. There is.
Here we go.
There aren't multiple races.
Here we go. Hold on, buddy. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. So I want to go back to Savin, who from Sacramento, California, who doesn't even know his own race.
No, he says there's only one race, the human race.
What?
He says there's only the human race.
No, there are black and white people. There are
He knows that,
Chinese
but that doesn't count as a different race.
and
So
Japanese and Filipinos and, and Africans and Asians, and there are different races.
Well, he doesn't want to acknowledge whether his parents are black.
Is he embarrassed about
maybe
them?
he doesn't know.
Is he embarrassed of them?
I
He
don't
said
know.
They're not black. He said they're
German.
white and
But
Jewish.
how come he
and
said
Portuguese.
possibly?
Right. He doesn't. He's not even sure about that.
Maybe there's a little black in them. He is like a. Anyways,
But why does he want to say what race he is? He's embarrassed.
Blacks were the original Jews, I think.
Oh,
so.
maybe he is black.
Let me go back to Savin.
Yes.
Okay, you're back on the air. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So just to comment on the
What?
race thing, I think that the reality of genetics and the fact that you look like your parents and the fact that people from different regions look like different things has been abused. Again, like the most famous one is Charles Darwin, who wrote that book. And he was also a Freemason, occultist. And that's what it always stems back to, is these sort of like these Satanists that get together and they just like put these lies out. And I believe in, of course, genetics are real. Of course, there's like people look different from different regions, but they take the reality of genetics and put it and say that's a race and everybody's a different race.
I don't disagree. I think it's just categorical.
Yeah, it is a category, but like the whole, the reason that...
So that's why you don't know if your parents are black or white?
The reason I don't know is because the way I was raised is that I'm an American. Like, my family never associated with being German or being Portuguese or being Jewish or being whatever else. And honestly,
mine, but I
took one of
knew
those
it was
tests...
But still, so because of that, you don't know what race you are?
I don't acknowledge that like the evolutionary aspect of it. Like, I'm trying to get away from the evolutionary aspect and the fact that it doesn't make sense that if two human beings, Adam and Eve, were created, then there could ever be another race. And I think that the reason that people think there is another race, like there's some jumping species, that type of deal, is because of the lie of evolution and that whole issue.
But your whole thing is that these categories, these dehumanizing categories like race and the 3/5 thing, that whole thing is
and
that
abortion. You said abortion. I agree
fine,
with that.
that all these categories, your whole thing is that because the founding fathers and by extension the government uses these categories, that the whole founding of America is like satanic and then you reference their occultist like roots, but like if going by that logic, it's like then the whole world is like satanic and occultist, because that's how the out operates. Yet out of that America went on to make a society that went against like that the whole world's way of thinking of categorizing you that way, and instead went for like making a free the freest society that you could think of.
Does he vote? Do you vote?
I've never had the opportunity. I was too young in 2016. I was 17.
Will you be voting this time around?
I haven't decided yet. I'm not sure.
So you might not vote?
That's possible.
What the?
Are in your mind, are nations immoral?
I don't know.
Are you in college?
Thought about it.
Because if you take
no, I'm not.
if you take the, and I mean, I'm not trying to attack you. I'm just trying to hear you out.
It's all good, man.
If you take that logic to its end, then there should be no nations, and all of the people should be one people, and there would be no, it'd be like John Lennon's Imagine, would it not?
That's interesting. I think that the goal for this world is for there to be a one world government. Like, I think that will happen, and I think that you guys with the whole America thing and calling Donald Trump the Great White Hope and all that, I think that you guys are fighting a losing battle, and like it's impossible to win that battle because like the foundation that you're trying to defend, these founding fathers, it's set up to fail. There is no truth in that. So like you're fighting a losing battle.
So you don't believe that Donald Trump is the Great White Hope?
No, I don't.
What the? Do you love black
I think
people?
That if anybody, yes. I mean,
do
yes,
you love white people?
Definitely.
And so why don't you believe Donald Trump is the Great White Hope?
Because there already was if you want to speak it in these terms, there already was a Great White Hope, and it was Jesus. So and I think that the Constitution.
So look,
the Constitution is redundant.
Is this Jesus?
You can't see it. There's a delay, like 30 seconds to 1 minute delay. So even if he's watching, you can't see it right away.
I'm not on the screen. Yeah.
He's holding up action figure Black Jesus.
I think that's funny. I get a kick out of.
But so then you do think that America and nations shouldn't exist then?
Honestly, I don't know. I've never actually thought about that specific thing. I don't know.
But I
we're
agree
fighting a losing battle.
I agree with your stance that above all of this stuff is Christianity, and it's the moral right. What is good? Perfection, and that is God. But if you think of it from your stance, then it would be some sort of, one human race, globalism, that type of stuff. And, you could be right, but as of right now, this moment, and that is the only moment that we have, that is the only existence and reality that is happening. Right now, there is nations, there are different people who do different things, and I don't think that in and of itself is evil, because if it was, even if it is, I don't think God thinks it's evil. I think that's how we're operating right now. And, I don't think God would just let us fail so, just in such a big way. We could be wrong now, and 1,000 years from now it could change, but as of right now, I don't think it's morally wrong.
So do you believe that God has operated through the Great White Hope, Donald Trump?
No, I actually think that Donald Trump is also a child of the lie, and I think that he's very subtle with it.
Why do you think he's a child of the lie?
There's nothing subtle.
An example of that
and nothing subtle about Donald Trump.
The other day, when he was talking, he was saying all those good things about how don't be afraid of coronavirus, don't let it take over your life. And then at the very end, he throws in the vaccine thing. Like, it always seems like he'll say some good stuff, and then there will always be some little caveat where it just takes a turn. Like with this Amy Barrett thing, like anybody, a born-again child of God, would never make that decision. And like you guys were talking about how he was compromising, he absolutely was compromising. And if he was of the truth, he would never make that decision, because it's such a clearly a bad decision.
I can't argue that. I have to agree on that one.
I think that you'll see that Donald Trump is not who he seems to be, and he's actually an actor.
But we've always known. We've always known that Trump was pro-woman. That's not a surprise. I knew going into it that I wasn't going to agree with a lot of things.
Right, but he's not actually.
He's not faking like he's not pro-woman.
He is faking, because like what pro-woman really would be like what Jesse talks about. Like, she has all these kids.
I know that, but you know what I mean.
Supreme Court.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
But I think the way you're phrasing it is untrue.
Well, I'm not saying that it's a good thing to be pro-woman. I'm saying that we already knew he was kissing up to the females.
But I don't disagree with you, Savan, in the sense that...
Wow, you said his name so nice for a black person. Savan.
I don't disagree.
That's your 30% white.
Coming out. In the sense that there's mistakes that's being made, and then you obviously recognize the mistakes that you see in Donald Trump and you just don't agree with. But in the bigger picture of it, he is a solid guy, and no matter what, if you look at the bigger picture, it's more about being solid. So yes, there's little mistakes that's made on the way, which is not good. They should, everyone, you should be perfect in your ways. But at the same time, his solid foundation is what's getting things done at the same time. So you don't want to skip it. You don't want to be too focused on the details and miss out on what he's actually doing. And there's a lot of things that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm not so much into those details, because you can see that, at least he's in the right place to make progress down the road.
And I think all the reason he chose Amy is because there are so many women now, voters, and women tend to vote for the Democrats. And the president needs the women voters in order to be reelected. And once he is, you're going to see more of the power of Donald Trump coming out for the country. It's just that sometimes you got to do little things that doesn't seem right, but you have a real reason for it, a good reason.
He wouldn't get away with not picking a woman to replace that woman. Yeah. But, I wish that he would try. That would be awesome. But,
yeah, that would be deep.
Yeah. But he didn't, about the vaccine thing, I don't like the vaccination thing, but he's not for forced vaccination, at least as far as I know. Yeah, he's mobilizing the military, but I'm sure if somebody else gets into power, or the local government, they would try to force the vaccines, right? Which is what they've been trying to do. But I don't think that he's ever been for forced vaccinations.
He just wants to open up the country.
Savan, you are an amazing call, and I'm really glad for your call, man. You make a lot of sense, and I understand.
Thank you.
Call me again, all right?
A lot of callers like this.
Great. Thanks.
And the thing I like about you, you are paying attention to things, and so I do appreciate that as well.
Okay, thank you.
So
I appreciate you too.
Do you believe that we are a Judeo-Christian nation?
Yeah, and actually, it didn't make sense to me until you explained it. And when you explained that without the Jews, there couldn't have been Christians, that made a lot of sense.
Oh, good, man. You really, I love, especially being so young. You are paying attention, so I'm really grateful for that. Call me again, all right?
All right, great. Thanks
and so, what's your race? I mess with you.
That's funny. All right.
Right.
All right, bye.
Bye, buddy. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.